Sometimes all it takes is one. That one smart draft pick that helps you win your league. Who is that player going to be this year? We got some ideas. All right, now to the picks. I know you're dying to know who's going to be the league winner for this year. Well, we have 2 picks in mind each. Let's start with you, Chris. Who's your first pick that you think nobody else is going to realize could be that guy?
I don't know if nobody else realizes it, but I haven't really talked about this guy much this offseason, and I don't know why, because I've loved him the entire offseason. That's Madre Stevenson. Like, everything has broken right for Madre Stevenson, but I don't feel like people have hyped him up the way they've hyped up some other running backs. I mean, first of all, look at the running back room there. They didn't draft anybody, which was certainly a worry. Damian Harris took 106 carries with him to Buffalo. And then the one running back that they signed, James Robinson, just already got cut, so he's not even there anymore. So Ramondre Stevenson looks locked in to a workhorse role once again. What I loved about Ramondre Stevenson last year that I really didn't think was a possibility for him was, number one, he led all running backs, all of them, every single one of them, in third down snaps. Why is that important? Well, it means he's on the field a lot, but it also means pass catches. Ranked number 3rd among all running backs in receptions last year, number 4 in targets. No reason to think that will change this year. I know Ty Montgomery is getting camp buzz, but come on. Ty Montgomery's 30 years old. The last time he even played 14 games, he caught 16 whopping passes. Not worried about Ty Montgomery at all. Another thing I really like about Ramondre, where I think he can be even better this year, is on the ground and in the touchdowns total. He only had 210 carries last year, which ranked 17th, and he only had 6 total touchdowns, which ranked 22nd, and I just talked about it. Damian Harris is gone. That's 106 carries. Who is taking up most of those carries? Like your boy, Pierre Strong? Kevin Harris. I mean, yeah, they're going to take some, but Ramondre is going to get his share of that, and he's going to get a lot more of the goal line work now. So I think we could see another year of Ramondre catching a ton of passes, but also a year of Ramondre getting more early down work and more goal line work. So he's still being drafted as the RB10, which is exactly where he finished last year. So I don't think you're taking much of a risk drafting him at this point. He's a 3rd-round pick. I think when Ramondre is available at that spot, you have to smash the draft button.
Yeah, I mean, you know I like Pierre Strong, but he barely saw the field last year. I doubt he's any sort of threat to Ramondre. And Ty Montgomery, it'll be about 2.5 games before he gets hurt. I'm just still trying to wrap my head around the idea that the Patriots now just use one guy really for everything, including passing downs. That's the new offense that we're going to see here. And hey, with Bill O'Brien there at the helm, maybe their offense will actually be even more effective. An offense that should definitely be more effective, and we might have to get used to seeing a little bit different here in Chicago. They might actually pass the ball this year. And you know why they didn't pass the ball last year? A lot of people saying, Justin Fields, he doesn't have the accuracy, they don't trust him, whatever. No, he had nobody to throw to. This is what happens when NFL teams don't trust their wide receivers. They don't throw to just whoever. So Justin Fields had to run the ball because, they didn't want him throwing to whoever they had out there, Velus Jones, So now they have a legit wide receiver one, and his name is DJ Moore. So what's different about DJ Moore? We've seen that he's been good, not great, the last few years. Okay, but let me tell you why. Tell me if this sounds familiar. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Teddy Bridgewater, Kyle Allen. Those were the leading passers for the Carolina Panthers the last 4 seasons, every year since Moore's rookie year. Okay, and before that, it was a getting over the hill before they let him go, Cam Newton. So DJ Moore, that's what he's had to deal with, and despite that, he put up 3 straight seasons over 1,100 yards. Last year took a little bit of a dip, but that's understandable considering that he had both Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold as quarterback. So now he gets a legit quarterback in Justin Fields who, yes, can pass the ball and will, and they've already been talking it up all this preseason. It's going to happen. They're going to be more selective with Fields as a runner. They want to keep him healthy. And oh yeah, they're going to open up the offense, and we've heard so much hype about the Moore-Fields connection being real. I'm buying into that because Moore's got to be so happy to be there in Chicago, and Fields has got to be thrilled to have a legit receiver like Moore. I think the connection is real. We've seen him put up 1,100 yards in the past. Why can't he go 1,200 plus this year? And I think that Moore at the ADP where he's basically barely in the 4th round, you can get him in round 5 a lot of times, going to wind up being a steal. You can get someone who could finish as a fantasy top 10 receiver in round 5, every time I will take that. All right, I know you have somebody else in mind who you think is an absolute bargain, potentially a league winner here.
Imagine if you could draft a QB who was a top 5 QB, even a top 2 QB every single year of his career, is still in the prime of his fantasy football career, and nobody wanted to draft him. You just kept passing on him over and over. That's DeSean Watson right now. Like, what are we doing here? I get it. He was bad last year. But we told you he was going to be bad. We were saying it. If you watched us during the season, if you were on our waiver wire shows, people were asking us, weeks before his suspension was going to be up, should I stash DeSean Watson? Should I start him as soon as he plays? And we were saying, hey, there's a chance that DeSean Watson, who hasn't played football in 2 years and was suspended and didn't get to really work with his new offense and his new coaches, there's a chance he could struggle. And guess what? He struggled. You shouldn't be surprised by that. You shouldn't now think that DeSean Watson is terrible. If your thought is that a guy who is an elite QB for every year is now terrible because of what happened last year with that situation, that's extreme recency bias. There's no reason to think this guy won't and can't bounce back. When you look at him in those years in Houston, other than his rookie year, he never had a lower completion percentage than 67%. He was at 58% last year. Do we think that's the anomaly or the new norm? I'm going to go with the anomaly. And look at what this team has done for him this offseason. They already had Amari Cooper. They already had Donovan Peoples-Jones. They already had David Njoku. Then they went out and traded for Elijah Moore, who, whatever you think of him, he's a young, dynamic, talented wide receiver. And then they went out and drafted Cedric Tillman, one of the few big X wide receivers in this draft. They're surrounding DeSean Watson, their $300+ million investment or whatever it is, with weapons because they are going to use him. And this offense is going to be drastically different this year. It's going to be much better. He's going to have the entire offseason with the coaches, with the offense, with the wide receivers. He's not going to have all that off the field stuff hanging over his head, having to answer those questions every single time. He's just going to be able to play football this year. And the people who realize that and draft him are going to reap the rewards. And the people who think last year is the new norm are going to kick themselves wondering what were they thinking.
Yeah, and look, I'm not going to go so far as say Elijah Moore is a league winner, but I bet you a lot of teams that have that Watson-Moore stack are going to finish in the money. So I'm going to go with a quarterback also, somebody we all know, and is really not being drafted, I would say late, but later than he should, because finally, maybe we're going to see Justin Herbert freed. And by that, I mean freed from the shackles of the Joe Lombardi offense. This is what we've been waiting for. No more dinking and dunking. No more relying on Austin Eckler to dump the ball off and make him do all the work. He's finally going to throw the ball down the field, and we've already seen it in OTAs. They're practicing on a regular basis, getting him to throw the ball 40+ yards down the field. And guess what? He's good at it. He's legit got a cannon. It just hasn't been loaded or used for the past couple of years. Finally, with Kellen Moore, he's going to be free. Now, if you don't know, Moore has been the offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys the last 4 seasons. Well, in those 4 seasons, 3 times the Cowboys finished in the top 8. In fact, twice they were the top 2 in passing yardage. And you know what? Some people like Dak Prescott, some people don't. Doesn't matter what you think of him. He got that offense to be one of the most prolific passing offenses in the entire NFL. And 3 of the past 4 seasons, that offense has been in the top 10 in passing touchdowns. So now he goes to the Chargers with a young gunslinger. At least he could be a gunslinger. Justin Herbert. He's got Keenan Allen. He's got Mike Williams. Oh, they added a first-round draft pick too in Quentin Johnston. Austin Eckler is still there. I mean, this offense is ready to explode. And so while Herbert, maybe you say, well, he's not a steal or where he's being drafted. He will be a steal if he finishes as one of the top fantasy quarterbacks in all the land. And I want to reiterate this because we've been saying it a lot. We have our live mock drafts we do every week. And you'll see that we're not waiting. We're not playing that late quarterback game anymore because it doesn't pay off. You want to have one of those top guys because if you wait, once you get past the top 10 quarterbacks, if you're going to wait, you're going to wind up with a boring vet who's really not going to help you win, like a Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith type. Or you can go and hope for a rebound from another guy like Russell Wilson or Derek Carr and hope that they can lead you to a championship. or you take a shot on a rookie quarterback and hope that they can lead you to a championship. I'll take an elite guy who is being underdrafted relative to his peers and could legit have a huge breakout season. We think those guys could legit help you win a championship this year. These guys, on the other hand, not so much. Steer clear.